putting this gathering on. It's truly an honor and obligation, honor to be here. And Sophia and Sean, where's Sophia?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. I am truly blessed to have you all in my life, and of course your friends and fiance, Ahmad. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all your support, because I couldn't do it without at least having my family behind me. Having said that, who's ready for Tim Kaine to move aside? Yay? Yes. So,
Kick him to the curb.
kick him to the curb. Tim Kaine is a lawyer. I'm a lawyer too, except that I am red, white, and blue. I have a background, obviously, being a lawyer. I will stand up, protect, and defend our liberties, rights, and freedoms. I will always stand up for parents and protect the children. Because at the end of the day, traditional American values matter. These are the values that made the United States the best nation in the world. Values like God, family, country. Values that are enshrined in the Constitution, like freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and unlimited government. And wouldn't you love if our government had our back and defended and protected these values and rights?
Oh God, yes.
No.
So I'm standing up
Trying to kill us.
with fellow patriots, fellow believers in these values, and to say enough.
Yes. Yes.
My background, where I came from, my mom was a school teacher. My dad was a nuclear physicist who worked to ensure the safety and success of military missions for the U.S. Navy. My brother was in the Army Reserves. So I came from a very humble family that loves America. And I became a lawyer, and I did my part in helping this country, and in Virginia in particular, by defending, listening to people, and finding solutions. So for over 30 years, I've represented, as Sophia said, thousands of Virginians. I have fought for them in state and federal courts in Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. And as your U.S. Senator, I will do the same for all Virginians. Listen to the needs of Virginians, from the north to the south, east to the west, from the cities to the country, because we all have different needs. And that's very important, that we don't only focus on, for example, Northern Virginia, that we incorporate all of Virginia. Times are tough now. We see the national debt is at $34 trillion. And I read recently, if we stay on this same path, in 10 years, it'll be at $58 trillion. So I am a champion of controlled spending, energy independence, reduced taxes to spur job growth.
Yes.
I will also targeted go after fraud, waste, and mismanagement. Do you know that the Pentagon cannot account for $1.7 trillion? That we've lost billions in COVID and Medicaid fraud? At the end of the day, this is our money, your money, my money, and you're wondering who are these people who cannot competently account for where our money is going. So I will hold hearings, examine, cross-examine, take depositions, and use the power of the subpoena for documents and witnesses to get to the root and hold those responsible accountable. You know what's going on at the border. It's a mess. It's a mess. Congress is very unable to bring closure to this. But the bottom line, the leadership has to come from the top, which means the president. So it will then trickle down and Congress can do. We've all heard that the laws are on the books to enforce what's on the books. To supplement that, we've got the H.R. 2 bill, which was passed by the House, which you know Speaker Johnson is in favor of. which basically brings back the Trump policies into effect, which is to build a wall outside the port of entry so you don't have people swimming across, and to remain in Mexico. So all these claims that they're coming in for, which is asylum claims, they'll wait outside the country until their cases are heard. This is the humane way to handle things, because it's not really fair to the migrants that are coming in. They have no place to go. They're being shuffled off left and right. It's not fair to the citizens who are here, because it's overwhelming our system. So we have to have a resolution. Now, maybe it'll be resolved before November. You're shaking your head.
Not a chance.
Not a
Not a chance.
Not
Well,
a chance.
My bill will be, to support HR 2. That's right now being tied in with the aid to Ukraine. Because that's the carrot that we have, that's the leverage we have. Because if we just support funding for Ukraine, then we have no carrot for the border. So we have to, unfortunately, tie them in together and be very firm that there's no funding until we take care of the border first. Because it's our country, it's our society, and we want to be safe. And lastly, let me say that because of our weak foreign policy, and you only have to go back to the Afghan withdrawal to see what kind of impression that created worldwide, we're perceived as being weak. We are now dragged into a couple of major conflicts. We need strong leadership on foreign policy. We don't want to see Chinese spy balloons floating across the continental US or hovering above our military installations. That's crazy. And I will introduce legislation that says we are not going to sell our land to our enemies.
Bravo.
This belongs to America. Right? Term limits. I'm a big fan of term limits. We cannot, I love my job. I've been doing it for 30 years, and I will take a sabbatical. But you have to have term limits. You cannot, I don't believe being in office should be a career. You should go in there, do good for the people, and leave a better place. And pass the baton and be a mentor for somebody else. But you've got to have term limits. I also believe in not taking money from special interest groups or from politicians. Because at the moment you do that,
Compromise.
you are going to compromise, right? And you're going to vote. Someone's got something over you and all this kind of stuff. You see what's going on with Fannie Willis, right?
And don't go to parties in DC.
And don't go to parties in DC. So it's a big mess. So, if you have these basic tenets going forward and always have your compass pointed on America first, how can you go wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I'd open the floor to questions and answers, but that's my platform. That's who I am. And ask you to join the campaign, support it in any way you can, because with your help, we can change the direction of this country. Thank you very much.